Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. And we've got player props here on a Thursday, 5 games in the NBA tonight after a nice big 10-game slate last night. So we're going to be looking at player props in this one. We have best bets up in a separate episode with looks at sides and totals for you guys. So make sure to subscribe to that channel and continue to follow along with us as we head into this NBA playoffs pretty soon. Also want to make sure you check out the description of the video. Got a link to the email newsletter that we are sending out every Friday to you guys from thelines.com. Really great way to just get a nice wrap up of the week, what you should be looking forward to head to for the weekend as well. And then we've got our bonus parlay in there for Nate and myself, bringing you some plus money hitters if we can keep that streak going there. Back to 500, but still up on the money there, because when you play those plus money bangers, you don't have to win more than half the time, right? So feeling good about that. Hope to see you guys in there on Friday in that newsletter. But let's go ahead and jump into your first play, a prop here for Thursday, Nate.
Yeah, and you can get some plus money here if you take more than just, Precious Achiuwa over 8.5 rebounds is plus 110 at the moment at DraftKings. If you do a double-double on that site, it's plus 250. I believe it started near 3-1 on your money. And I've been looking at, Precious to get his 10 boards, 10 points maybe, and Jalen Brunson to eat in this matchup, because the Knicks, as we mentioned, going to sit Josh Hart, OG, and Mitch Robb. So, Precious is probably walking into like 38 minutes here. In the 3 without Hart this season, he's averaged 10.3 points, 9.7 rebounds in 33 minutes. The minutes are down because his last opportunity, he only played 28 in a 37-point loss at Cleveland. Still grabbed the 10 rebounds he would need. And Cat right now is going to be battling. The last time they played the Pistons, he was absolutely banging with Jalen Duren and Beef Stew. They split the minutes. They were giving him all sorts of physical trouble. He still got his double-digit boards, but Josh Hart swoops in for 14 rebounds, 11 on the defensive end. And now that's going to be Precious getting in there, with a better matchup individually than Cat. Detroit actually allows the third most rebounds to power forwards or centers in their last 7, because they're allowing the second most rebounds overall. They've allowed the 8th most offensive rebounds per game since the All-Star break, and most free throws as well. So I think Precious could get to your 10 points for sure. He should be a good pick and roll partner for Brunson at times. The Pistons pick and roll defense is terrible, and Brunson should just be kind of working them here. Nothing fancy, right? Because they might meet in the playoffs, but it's just going to be a steady diet of pick and roll, I think, and Precious being the guy they want to show rather than show their full team, because they're not playing Hart and OG.
Yeah, makes a little sense to me. Do you think Precious is the guy that you look at to step up here? And if he's going up against Tobias, right? Like it makes sense that it'll be Precious and Deuce entering the starting lineup for this squad. And then, you've got Precious going out there banging with Toby Harris. And I do love taking opponent power forwards rebounds. There's a pretty solid reasoning for why they give up so much to the power forward position. Tobias Harris plays on that baseline, sort of extended baseline, an extended wing area, but keeps his defender really close to the basket and in really solid rebounding position for most boards that come off, especially when boards are not coming from above the break. When they come from the side or the wings, he's always in that spot on the opposite side of the basket. Just simple geometry, people. But let's go ahead and get over to that Pelicans-Bucks game. I don't even know what adjective I want to use to describe that game, but Giannis is now questionable. Late ad. Even if he was playing, or even if he does play, I don't care. I like this bet for Ryan Rollins, the young point guard for the squad, over 8.5 points. Love his game, by the way. If you haven't watched Ryan Rollins play, he is full of piss and vinegar and anger, and he's really, really fun to watch. But if you look at him on the points here, you got to give him 28 plus minutes. Who is left for this team, right? Like he has been the starting point guard without Dame as is. Now you take Giannis off, who's the pseudo point guard, right? Like I call Ryan Rollins the point guard, but without Dame, it's Giannis's show essentially. But he's still really good on the points. If you give him 28 plus minutes this season, even if you add Giannis in there, with Giannis played 6 games where he's seen 28 plus, 14.7 points per game in those, over 8.5 in all 6. I think he's good for 10 plus in this game too. If you just want to bypass this 8.5 points and just go to 10 plus for plus money, I think you're good. You get plus money for 1 more point for him. Really like that look too. But I do hope that Jose Alvarado doesn't play. But the thing about the Pelicans is, if you're not named Antonio Reeves, or actually Brooks, whose name I don't even remember at this point, Keon Brooks maybe. If you're not either of those guys, you're not playing 30 minutes. Like Bruce Brown Brown, if he plays, he's questionable. 26 minutes is what he's been looking at. Yves Missi, if he plays, maybe he gets to 30, but he's not impacting much there for Ryan Rollins. And like I said, Jose Alvarado, if he plays, yeah, great defender, but we're also talking about a stealing of like 26 minutes for dude, as we get a bunch of guys that are going to be playing tonight for the Pelicans that most of y'all, I promise, have never heard of. So Ryan Rollins in these games where he's playing 28 plus minutes, averaging the points, averaging double-digit attempts from the floor. That's the key here, is like 13 attempts per game. When he gets up to actually 30 plus minutes in those games, we're talking 13 plus shots to get, 9-10 points. Like, yes, he's an NBA player that's very capable of doing that, putting up a bunch of threes too. So like this matchup for him for sure.
Absolutely love it if Giannis sits again, which he did
Love it.
against the Pels 4 days ago, right?
Yeah.
And Rollins goes for 14 and 10. Giannis, when he's out there, has at least a 70% combined usage and assist rate in his last 7 games, including 110% combined against the Philadelphia 76ers. The one time that I tried to take Rollins on the combined, and he was just like, all right, I guess I'm not touching the ball tonight. Giannis is just putting up history numbers. But yeah, I mean, as long as he gets a few more opportunities, if Giannis is starting to realize that, like, I should save something here for the first round, yeah, we should get a lot more of him and Kevin Porter Jr. running the offense. So Pascal Siakam over 26.5 points and rebounds. And basically this cap is just based on no Evan Mobley. Like, hello, much better matchup here against a Cavs defense that just isn't good around Evan Mobley. Like you said, Jared Allen might not play more than the 20 minutes. And then it's just like Dean Wade, I mean, no slight, but he's about the only guy I would say is like a plus defender out there left on this roster. Like, they're going to have a lot of 3-point shooters who aren't going to be able to do much down low. And even with Mobley in there in 4 against the Cavs, Siakam's at about 28, 29 points, rebounds on 27% usage rate his last 4 matchups here. Cavs, I mean, with Mobley in there, still allowing the most points to power forwards in their last 15. They just haven't really brought it defensively. Like I said, I mean, Mobley's not always on the power forward. And like I said, they don't have many good defenders other than him. And they're also allowing a ton of OREBs last 7, fourth most second chance points, 7th most points overall. And Siakam's starting to board up a little bit more. I mean, you look at, he's second in rebound chances over their last 15. He's up to 11.3 rebound chances, grabbing 7 of those in his last 4. That's a 62% rate versus Miles Turner at 51%. And Turner will be dealing with Jared Allen at points here, while Siakam should have a much easier time grabbing boards in what projects to be a more like 3-point heavy, long rebound game based on who the Cavs are trotting out there. And yeah, he shouldn't meet much resistance going to the rim on the other side.
Yeah. Well, all makes sense to me. Really not much to add there. I mean, like you said, he's out. If Mobley's not in, Allen's barely going to be out there. Who is playing now for them? Like, I don't even know who they're going to get out there. We just never see another big. Like, they just don't even invest in it. So, I would have to look at who it even is at this point. That's wild. I usually at least know like the 3rd big man on the team, and I just can't even name him right now. So, it seems like a pretty good
Wade.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess it's the college professor, Dean Wade. But let's go to my last bet here. Back to that Knicks game. Let me take some assists for the big man. I'm going to take Cat over 2.5 dimes. You can actually get that at plus 125. I think you might be able to get a plus 140 even in some spots, but definitely shop that around. You're going to get some nice plus money for Cat to get 3 dimes. We've got no OG. We've got no Hart. It's pretty simple here. We've got no OG and no Hart. In these situations on the season, 3.8 rebounds per 36 when he's playing without them. You give him 36. That's what Tibbs is going to run his guys. In the games that he's played without, there's only been like 1 game without both of them. It was against the Bulls. But if you look at the games without Hart, 3 of them without Hart, 3 assists in 3 of them. Like I said, that 1 game against the Bulls, he had 5 potentials, just 2 assists in that one. And then in the other couple games there against Minnesota, much better defense. I'm not really worried about that, but most importantly, like what I should say is I'm not worried about who he's playing. It's mostly about the usage and the uptick in passes made for him when he's playing without those guys. But the other part here is that Detroit allows the most assists per game to centers. And the reason that they allow the most assists per game for centers is that Jalen Duren certainly does not want to come out past the free throw line. Cat is living at the top of the key, out on the wing, right? He's starting far from the basket. He's got a ton of drives per game. But the other thing is he's just going to be standing when he gets the ball near the top of the key, even if it's like at the free throw line area, like he's going to have whatever he wants. Does he want to pass it out to, a McBride or a Shamit in the corner? Does he want to like pass it down low to Precious, who has a plus matchup and size against a guy like Tobias Harris? Like he's going to have options, and he's not going to have Jalen Duren up his butt when he's that far from the basket. Duren is just sitting there waiting for him to come down, and that's why anybody who can pass the ball from the center position is going to do well getting their dimes against this squad. He had 7 potentials in both games versus Detroit. He's also averaging 7 potentials per game when he's played without Hart. He's averaging 6.5 potentials per game when he's playing without OG, which has been like 6 games. And the other thing is like the first bunch of games that OG missed were in like November, before Cat really had himself inserted into the offense as the sort of secondary option. Like if you remember the first like 5 games for Cat, as a Knicks fan especially, I was like prodding him like, come on, do something. Like, no, like dominate. What do you mean? Like, just take over, dude. Like, I want you to be a ball hog again, like you were when you dropped 30 a game on that in Minnesota, and also had 3 or 4 assists per game for a while when you were also just the one with the ball in your hands at the top of the key. So we're going to come back to that a lot in this one, I believe. I like assists for a lot of guys in this game, which is weird because the Detroit's very good limiting assists, but specifically to the center position, they're the worst. So that's why I just went with Cat and ignored all the other noise essentially.
Yeah, the one game Hart and OG missed together on February 20th. Cat did wind up with just 2 assists against the Bulls, but I mean, 30 field goal attempts. He's definitely going to see elevated usage, elevated touches. And just to clean up, I mean, Tristan Thompson is still on the Cavs roster and played about 10 minutes over the last 3 games, and they signed Chuma Okeke, Kiki to kind of fill out the rest of the season on a 10 days. So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see those guys tonight.
Chuma's going to be helpful. My bad. I forgot that it was 2007 and that Tristan Thompson's on the Cavs. Obviously, Tristan Thompson. So anyway, that is all the time we have for you guys at this one. Definitely make sure to subscribe to that channel. Check out the best bets that we have with looks for sides and totals for you. And make sure you do hit up that newsletter because we're going to have that bonus bet for you guys for tomorrow with some plus money on the parlay there. So until we do see you then, happy betting.